For millions, posting on social media is just a part of daily life. It's a way to share moments and thoughts with your online circle, while also keeping a personal digital record. But Facebook and Twitter are not the only way to record your memories. There's a much simpler system that predates them all: diaries. The first reference to the word diary goes back to 1605, although the hobby wasn't prevalent until the mid-1800s. Since then, the books have graced the shelves of retailers across the world, and many of us can remember a time when we poured our thoughts and emotions into its blank pages. Even reading back through diaries years later can transport a person back to that exact feeling or memory, or often show just how much has changed since then. But for some young people today, social media platforms like Instagram and Twitter have grown to become a different form of reflection.
I never will just sit down and write about my day. And I think that has manifested into Instagram and Twitter and being like, the world now knows what I did today, so why do I have to write about it in my own personal space?
That's Lilia Buckingham, a 17-year-old Instagram influencer with 1.7 million Instagram followers. Buckingham is also an actress, producer, and soon-to-be-published co-author of the book titled Influence. Buckingham says that being a teenager in the public eye is filled with its ups and downs.
I've grown into being really comfortable about sharing how I feel and what I'm going through with my followers. I was super afraid to come out on Instagram because I was really scared that it was going to change the way that people saw me or change job opportunities or whatever. And then I was just thinking one night, think about how many kids, if they see this and are thinking the same thing as me, will change the way that they feel about themselves.
Building a community where her followers embrace her sexual orientation has not only helped Buckingham grow into her own skin, but has helped thousands of others do the same. She says sometimes, though, the ease of posting to Twitter can almost make it too simple to share every realization.
All I do is tweet the weirdest things that I'm like doing or feeling or thinking. Like, it's hilarious at this point when I stalk my Twitter. I'm like, oh God, what was I thinking? And I'm like, this should just be in a password journal. Like, stop broadcasting this to the world. But I think our generation has really grown up in an age where we're used to seeing everybody's personal lives on Instagram, even though obviously it's all filtered and it's only what people want us to see. But it kind of feels like Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat are our own personal diaries because it's our life and it's our way of expressing things. And I used to keep a diary when I was like elementary school kid, and I definitely grew out of it. I still have a bullet journal and stuff to keep my ideas down for writing purposes and just like when I have little thoughts, but I never will just sit down and write about my day.
And it's not just teen girls that are turning to social media to share their unfiltered lives. A growing number of young professional athletes play the social media game just as well, if not better than, their actual sporting events.
There's a lot of visibility for them. So, I mean, there's millions of sports fans and who are very interested in everything the athlete does. So one thing that social media provides fans is the ability to kind of see athletes in unscripted ways.
That's Dr. Jimmy Sanderson, assistant professor of kinesiology and sports management at Texas Tech University. Sanderson co-authored a study called I'm Going to Instagram It, an analysis of athletes' self-presentation on Instagram, which was published in the Journal of Broadcast and Electronic Media. Sanderson has spent years studying why athletes like to broadcast their inner struggles, interests, and relationships on social media.
There's a lot of variation. Some are very kind of straight-laced and very conservative, whereas others will just pretty much post anything anything that's going on. So, and, you know, that's where you can potentially see some issues is because everything's documented. So there's a number of cases where athletes have put things out there and have gotten in trouble for it because there now is a record of that.
Why do we enjoy following someone else's life when many of us can barely keep up with our own?
I think that there's always just been this attraction for people with you know, and it's the same thing with celebrities and now influencers. I mean, it's just people are interested in what those people are doing. So social media is just a very convenient and easy way to pretty much constantly be seeing what's going on with the people you're a fan of.
But posting on social media isn't just for your own personal record. Many Instagram users fixate on the number of likes each photo receives. Likes on Instagram are the heart-shaped interactions followers can press and send in approval of a photo they enjoy. In a January 2020 New York Times article, the subject of removing likes was discussed with the head of Instagram. The concept would hopefully cut down on the pressure many users feel to project perfection in order to increase their number of likes. Buckingham admits that she too feels this way sometimes.
A part of me, I really don't care. I'm doing this for me because I think it's fun, and the people who follow me I know want to see what I'm doing, and so I'll post for them. But you can't help yourself from looking sometimes and being like, why didn't this get this many likes? Or it's just a little part of your brain that you can't really stop from being there. And I think it's awesome that Instagram's even considering taking away likes, because I feel like it'll make the app so much less stressful, if that makes sense.
In response, Buckingham founded her own anti-bullying organization called Positively Social to help cut down on the negativity present on social media. The group strives to teach young people how to be their authentic selves online, while also helping them realize that most of Instagram is a person's highlight reel.
I think it's just my mental state has been like, hey, who really cares? My life will be broadcasted no matter what. No matter what I do, there's going to be an unflattering picture of me somewhere, or a photo I post won't get that many likes, or maybe someone will comment something rude under my photo, or maybe I'll deal with some sort of homophobia. It's going to happen, and it's totally inevitable. And I always think things like that, like the one hate comment or the one photo that doesn't get likes, can't be the thing that stops you from being your authentic self and helping other people. It just means so much more to do good on social media.
Sharing your most intimate thoughts online in a diary that everyone has access to seems to be the new normal for Generation Z.
With every passing year, the next generation of athletes that come in are going to be athletes who have had, social media and phones for the majority of their lives. So in the early part of social media, and I even say even up until the past few years, it's been athletes who have perhaps grown up without those things or had to kind of learn, how to use them. And now we're just going to see athletes who have been on it their whole lives. By the time they become a professional athlete, they'll have been on Instagram since they were 9.
Putting pen to paper might be outdated for some, but the need to speak your mind remains constant. It just comes down to personal preference, whether that's in a journal, online, or anything in between. To find out more about this topic and our guests, Lilia Buckingham and Dr. Jimmy Sanderson, visit viewpointsradio.org. Also, look for Buckingham's book, Influence, that's set to release this January 2021 at your local bookstore and online on Amazon.com. This segment was written and produced by Annie Krall and Amira Zaveri. Our studio producer is Jason Dickey. I'm Marty Peterson. Coming up next week.
As I learned poker, as I became better, as I learned the game on a deeper level, I found myself making better decisions and growing as a person outside of poker.
The parallels of life and poker. Then,
it really truly was exactly like what you would expect.
Is lab-grown meat the future? I'm Marty Peterson.
And I'm Gary Price. These stories in depth on your public affairs magazine, Viewpoints.
And that's Viewpoints for this week. Viewpoints is a production of MediaTrax Communications. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to learn more about upcoming shows. And find a library of past programs on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. Plus, you'll always find previous segments and more information about our guests at viewpointsradio.org. Join us again next week for another edition of Viewpoints.